What do you got in mind, McCready?
A little test. And Windows. You and Palmer tie everybody down real tight.
What for?
For your health.
Come on, let's rush him. He's not gonna blow us all up.
He ain't tying me up.
Then I'll have to kill you, Charles.
Then kill me.
We're gonna draw a little bit of everybody's blood. We're gonna find out who's the thing. Every little piece is an individual animal with a built-in desire to protect its own life. You see, when a man bleeds, it's just tissue. The blood from one of you things won't obey when it's attacked. It'll try and survive. Crawl away from a hot needle, say.
This is pure nonsense. Doesn't prove a thing.
I thought you'd feel that way, Gary. You were the only one that could have got to that blood. We'll do you last.
Get away from me! Retreating! What is it?
That was a scene from the movie called The Thing, where these people were on some kind of expedition or recovery mission or whatever it was. I can't remember. It's an old movie, but I did see it back in the day. And they found out that it was some kind of alien that was basically co-opting people's bodies. And one of the people, the one that was in charge, I guess he decided that folks should get tied up and have their blood tested to find out how many of them were still human. And the stuff they're doing with people's DNA these days, man. And I pieced together a few clips from an old movie called Eve of Destruction, where Gregory Hines, I forget the name of the character he played, but it was Gregory Hines. They hired him to kill an android that the military created. And this thing went rogue, started doing its own thing, making its own decisions. The thing got shot, then got in a car accident, then really went crazy.
Eve 8 got herself shot. Point is, when she was shot, somehow, and we have no idea, it screwed up her internal workings. Now she's on the loose.
And armed.
Oh, and armed, you bet.
Okay, so let me ask some maybe stupid questions here. Do you know where she is now?
No, our trace on her was knocked out at the time of the shooting.
So there's no way to communicate with her?
That's affirmative.
When we eventually do find her, how do we switch her off?
It's not as simple as that, Colonel. She's more human than machine.
You see, Jim, she's just like a regular soldier. You give her instructions and she carries them out.
How dangerous is she?
She could be highly dangerous if she's locked in battlefield mode.
What's that?
Battlefield mode is Eve 8's highest state of readiness. It means she's a split second away from using force to protect herself from what she perceives as terminal harm.
So I guess that means she's no longer in the mood to accept orders from a superior officer.
That's correct.
Well, this is quite some toy you have yourselves here, gentlemen. I suppose you want me to put it back in its box.
It's not a toy, Colonel.
Her areas of vulnerability naturally are approximate to those of a real human. All the motor signals that control her limbs come down the backbone, which has a strong protective coating.
What's that cylinder?
That's just part of her protection.
What's that?
Oh my God.
What the fuck is that?
She's activated.
Activated? What do you mean she's activated?
I need the radio.
What do you mean she's activated?
I need that radio. What the hell's going on? How the hell's this happened?
We don't know. It appears target has sustained a severe impact. She's put herself on a 24-hour clock.
She's a battlefield nuclear weapon, McQuaid. And if we don't find her in the next 24 hours, she'll explode with enough force to take out 20 to 30 city blocks. Your superiors thought there was no need for you to know. I was following my orders like you're following yours. She can only be activated by a complex series of prearranged signals. She's designed to be fail-safe.
You people are too much. You know that? I mean, you really do think you're God. Except, Doctor, when God created his Eve, he did it to shake us up a little bit. Now you've gone one better and designed her to blow us all the fuck away.
That was from a 1990 movie. The things that they're making these days. These people really do believe that they're gods. Religious fanatics warned of what would begin to happen when you remove God from the schools. And right now we have a bunch of godless people who think that mankind is God, and they're doing all kind of things, especially with what they're doing with DNA and just genetics overall. This is a gift you're looking at. The lecture, it'll be in the description box and time-stamped. This is a gift you're looking at. This is inside of someone's DNA. They put one of these in it. They're doing stuff like this in these laboratories, and one day I suppose people will be seeing why people from ancient times used to write about or even carve pictures into walls about big things, flying things, super strong things that us today we only get to see on screen. Maybe people will be finding out why the book said that the God of the book had to flood the place, and why the book said that those days are going to come back because, humans are going to start making things all over again, like the days of Noah, it says in that book. And there are other stories, too, that have nothing to do with the Bible or any other Abrahamic faiths.
For example, back in the 1890s, Joe Dokes was just a guy who liked to tinker around his barn. Some people thought Joe was lazy. Some even thought he was nuts. But one day, he had an idea. And because he was free to dream his dream and tinker, Joe had a chance to make something of himself and his idea. So, of course, some people didn't think so much of Joe's idea. But that didn't stop him.
That wasn't just a cartoon where you saw the people running away. That was actually a thing. The fear of technology. But turns out the conspiracy theorists back then were right. People were afraid of automobiles and refrigerators and microwaves and telephones and other things. But they were right because look where we're at. We've torn up just about everything. And we're not finished yet. Same kind of people these days are trying to warn people of the trouble we're headed towards with all of this technology and the science.
We've just lost connection with Metropolis 8 News now.
Why do I react in the way I react when I hear people talk about job losses to computers? and how manpower is being replaced with digital power.
Meet Flippy. Inspire Brands, which owns Buffalo Wild Wings, is testing out the Flippy 2 robot, which will make wings in the back of house over the next year.
It really is all about how we increase our capacity. And so all of the automation that we are looking at will allow us to unlock that and provide faster food to our guests.
Here comes the robot.
In comes the Maitre D from Rich Tech, which offers robotic solutions in both the restaurant and hospitality space. The Maitre D robot cost up to $20,000 and has been used in restaurants including California Pizza Kitchen to deliver food at tables. The company says it's signing up between 2 and 4 large chains for pilot programs weekly.
I'll hear people suggest, see, that's why you need to get into the tech field.
How does Apartments.com maintain the superhuman levels of productivity necessary to help more renters get into new homes than any other site? It's really as simple as taking that old power nap once in a while. Beep, 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 beep. And cock-a-doodle-doo-ski, wakey, wakey. That should clear out the digital cobwebs for a few months or so. Apartments.com, the most popular place to find a place.
When I hear, that's why you need to get into tech, because they'll always need tech people, I think to myself that these people have little to no idea of the level of evil that we're dealing with here. There are no plans for too many people in tech either. Why? Well, because there are no plans for there to be too many people around, period. You know, one of my other channels, I did a video titled Heterophobia and Climate Change. And I made a statement about how connected everything is. And I said that, but you still got people who think that cryptocurrency and Bitcoin is a way out of or something that's apart from the system. Then the person who comments on my videos fairly often named 100 Proof. 100 Proof told me, he or she, I don't know if it's a he or she, I don't know, so I'm going to assume that 100 Proof is a male. I'll assume it's a he. He told me that he don't know much about crypto and Bitcoin stuff, and I told him, neither do I. I just know that it belongs to the people on top of the pyramid. But why do I say things like that?
Hey everyone, it's Gianna Lum at Convincing Crypto, where we keep you in the loop on all the latest trends and news on crypto and blockchain technology. On our channel, we've been following crypto legislation pretty closely. Today, I have an update on an executive order pertaining to crypto. So this is not legislation. This is from the executive branch, from the president. There's also the consideration of a White House crypto czar to be the point person on the issue. Let me know who you think that would actually be. I think that could be pretty cool. And it would be good to have somebody who's an expert in crypto properly informing the government, but they could also badly inform the government.
And Jennifer Epstein, Ben Bain putting out this story, talking of potential crypto czar over at the White House. Do we know which particular institutions, which agencies would be looked at to regulate crypto, Wendy?
I think it's a recognition by the administration that this isn't some boutique, high-tech, nerdy thing out there that some people do. That this is a increasingly item that is being taken seriously in financial markets, being used in financial markets. So, what does the federal government do when it sees something become widespread? They want to regulate it. It's almost a reflex response.
A crypto czar. A czar basically means creating a position like the United States Surgeon General Vivek Murthy, but for crypto. And that's going on worldwide. That's going on worldwide, but I don't think that they hijacked the market. I think it was always theirs. And hey, whoever don't know, you won't believe this. I didn't believe it when I found out just a month ago, so this is not old knowledge to me. But put into your search engine, who started Bitcoin? And what you'll see is a bunch of people still trying to find out. Nobody even knows who started it. what you'll find out are a bunch of people trying to connect the dots and piece the puzzle together. You'll also see that, people that they've traced and tracked down and exposed as imposters, posing as a man who people think started it. They have a name, someone called Satoshi. Then they found out that they only had a name, because the name that they thought they had was a pseudonym.
One of the biggest mysteries in the technology world is the identity of Satoshi Nakamoto, the computer programmer who invented the digital currency Bitcoin. That's because Satoshi Nakamoto is a pseudonym. It may be the name of one person or the name of a group. But for over 9 years now of Bitcoin's existence, no one has figured out who or what Nakamoto really is. He points to the story of Dorian Nakamoto, a Japanese American who, in 2014, was incorrectly identified as being the inventor of Bitcoin.
Just a couple of years ago, Newsweek identified a man named Dorian Satoshi Nakamoto, who isn't Satoshi Nakamoto, but they thought he was. And reporters descended on his house and tore apart his life.
Do you mind speaking to us for a moment?
No. I have nothing to do with Bitcoin. I just believe that somebody put that fictitious name in there.
I don't know what this is all about.
The main reason I'm here is to clear my name that I have nothing to do with Bitcoin, nothing to do with developing. I was just an engineer doing something else. And if you look at the time span, 2001, when it was supposed to be developed, I wasn't there. I was working for the government through a contracting company. That's not me. I never communicated with Bitcoins. Leah wrote all this?
Yeah.
2010 to 2000. I was at home.
Okay.
I wasn't working for anybody.
Okay.
And I really like to find somebody who came up with this name.
Yeah, yeah.
It's most likely it's a fictitious name.
His house from his front door and took off trying to get to this Japanese. Heavily quotes this guy, Chief Scientist Gavin Anderson.
I don't know him.
Okay, have you ever corresponded by email?
No.
Okay.
I don't even know his name or person.
Okay.
Imagine that. And I already had reasons to know that the crypto Bitcoin thing belongs to the government, or who we might call the elite. But to find out that nobody knows who started it was crazy. But the religious people were right. And I vaguely remember when I was in school how religious groups were on the news, sometimes protesting in front of schools or being invited onto shows, adamantly against teaching sex education in schools. That was a war they was in the 80s and probably before then, but they were right. Because now you have people who not only want to teach odd sexual activity to kids, but to kids as young as 5 years old. Letting sex education be introduced into schools opened the door for weirdos that want to start doing their thing now. But I didn't have much to say. Not a whole lot. This commentary was just some things that have been on my mind for a long time.
Jesus, or you're gonna go to hell. You have to repent, brother. Sexual immorality